Hey everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. If you hang out until after the video is through, there are always detailed shots of my current layout. Let's get going! Hey everyone, so today I am here doing a layout with 3 photos, one 4x6 and two 3x4. I'm also going to be working with the Elle Studio Noteworthy line. I have pulled out a piece of dark cardstock. Haven't really worked with dark cardstock a lot. Now I'm doing my second dark cardstock layout, I think within a month, so it's kind of fun. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, get you guys put on fast forward. I have an idea of something, but I'm not quite sure if it's gonna work or not, so we're gonna see. It might work, it might just be I scrap it and say, no, we're not gonna do that at all. We will see. All right, folks, I'm going to get you put on fast forward and get started with this layout. All right, let's get going. First thing I'm going to explain here is this video is faster than I usually have my videos go, simply because it took me forever to do this. I'm going to do a really long title with a mix of different things. I love this paper that's showing right here with all the different words on it, and I was super inspired by that phrase right at the top saying, enjoy every moment. So my thought was to do, running down the left-hand side, a really long title with a whole bunch of different items, finishing off with enjoy every moment. So what I'm doing now is I'm pulling out all of the different Elle Studio words I have in wood veneer, in acrylic, in paper, and I'm going to use them to figure out what my title is going to be. Now, I took out a notebook and I actually wrote them down and I wrote what type of thing, and I did jump ahead because, like I said, this video was so, I mean, even I have it 4 times the speed and I cut out a lot of it, it is still almost 13 minutes long, which is long for me. I mean, it's average for me, but I have it going much faster than I normally do. So I have a mix of that pattern paper from the Noteworthy collection. Now all of their papers are numbered, so I didn't bother to show you. There's only, I believe, 5 or 6 papers in the entire kit, in the entire line. So, if you look up Noteworthy, you'll find it. So I don't have exactly what the title is going to be right here. I'm still trying to work with it. I've got a couple of words where I accidentally use them twice. Basically that word remember. I was like, I'll use remember. And then again, oh, I'll use remember, forgetting that I had already used it in another portion of the video, of the layout. So I have the words there, real life, and I love the way the real turns sideways is the same height as the word life. It's silly stuff like that just get me so, yay, super excited. Oh my goodness. So I've jumped ahead and here I have the majority of what it's going to be, but I'm not liking it all cardstock. So I'm going to take this piece also from the Noteworthy line and cut it along that diagonal corner to corner piece, and I'm trying to figure out if I want that light pink or if I want that two-tone darker pink and red. So I'm going to try it with the darker pink, and I think that's the one I go with. I don't remember now. What I am going to do is go ahead and trim down this photo that was originally 3x4. I really only need the blue screen. So my nephew was nominated for an award for his performance in Our Town by the Connecticut Association of School Performances, something along those lines. They're nicknamed the Halo Awards, simply because they are sponsored by a theater company called Seven Angels Theater Company. I don't know if you are in the know about theater or anything like that. What they're actually famous for is the show Nonsense. So if you're familiar with that show, that's the company that originated that performance show thing. Whatever. Okay, so I think maybe I'll put it over to that white side for a second, but I don't like it. Again, everything on here is dark. The pictures are dark because they're taken inside a theater or during a show. I've got that dark background. The pops of white are in the cut out words. Now, obviously, I could have fussy cut those out, but I actually really liked the boxiness of it, which is unusual for me, but I did. So I am going to go ahead and take the back side of that piece that I cut out all the words from and use that blue side to be a mat for that photo of my nephew. And then I was going to use that noteworthy paper, and I remember I had a little scrap of it, and I didn't necessarily want it to go all the way across my photo, so this was actually perfect for what I needed it to be. Because the white of the words, I didn't want that to run into the white of that mat. So I'm splitting apart the enjoy every moment. And the reason being is I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to use all three of the paper words. I also have that word moment, as you see, in a puffy sticker. And I was pretty sure I wanted to use the puffy sticker instead, and I do. Now, when I was talking about the Seven Angels Theater, I was writing down some words. Those are words I need to fill in with alpha stickers or puffy stickers, simply because I don't have them in paper or stuff. They're all the joining words of the, and, to, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So I'm going to cut away from here right now, because all I did was I inked up the edges of all of those words just to make it a little less jarring from the white to the darker thing of everything else. And that I used, I want to say hickory smoke, but I'm not, I'm 99% sure it was hickory smoke. If not, it was pumice stone. Those are my two gray choices. So I am going to go ahead and trim off the edges of the papers that I had hanging off my main photo there, and I have the end of my words, but I have a lot more to go. I'm going to cut ahead, and here I've pulled out what I'm going to be using for joining words. I have Bella Boulevard Wonky Puffy stickers and Elle Studio Alphas, and those are what I'm going to mix around with to fill in the rest of my words. So I'm about halfway, and I get here and I'm not super happy with the way things are going. I'm basically I cut away from me randomly moving around this top half of the words for 10 to 15 minutes. Finally, I'm like, oh, you know what I need to get in there? I need to have in there my journaling spot, because I do have a little bit of journaling to write. And I find this two-tone cut apart that mimics what I have going on in my layout. So I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So I layer that above the real life and nestled into where those two upper photos are. And now I'm still futzing around with what's going on with at the top of my layout. And I'm going to cut away and come back, and I'll have glued things down, and I finally have an idea of where I want to go. So here is where I do something that I've literally never done in the history of my scrapbooking hobby. I mean, I've seen it done, and I've seen many people do it, and it's gorgeous, but I've never done it. And that's where you rip away at the front piece and then tuck in behind it some colored cardstock, or in my case, pattern paper. And that's what I'm going to do. And I've never felt so happy about just taking a risk and just diving in and ripping the paper as I have. Because obviously, if I'd done that and I'd hated it, I would have had to start over. But I love the way it turned out. It just adds a bit of whimsy to this really regimented layout. So I was super happy with the way that turned out. I was breathing a lot easier. It was there. I was like, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, oh God, there's something wrong with this. This is not making me happy. But I've committed. I've cut up all this paper. I've laid everything down. And how is it that this is not working out? Grr. So I'm going ahead and adding liquid glue to the back and then just gluing those on, and I'll trim those off. I'll just give that a few minutes to dry. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I really need to finish off the top of this layout, and I'm going to cut away and come back, and it is complete. And I'm just going to read you the entire title, because I know some of the words are not especially readable on the screen. So it's today, note the story of magic and awesome real life. And then I'm going to put a period at the end there. Document the important details, but remember to enjoy every moment. So that's my title. And as I said, I've got paper, wood veneer, acrylic, puffy stickers, cut aparts. So it's a whole mishmash of everything but the kitchen sink for that title. But I really do love the way this turned out. It just made me very happy once I finished. All right, so now I'm moving into embellishing. I pulled out the bits and pieces from the Noteworthy line, and I'm just pulling out some things that I think will work. I've got that blue star over on the left-hand side. I've got that check it out flag, and that's right up next to the picture that has my nephew's name up on the screen when he was nominated. He didn't win. We didn't think he was going to win, but this is just something he does for fun. So he's in the happy to be nominated. I mean, it's kind of like a cool thing. You get to go and dress up, and everyone gets to wear their prom clothes again, which all the parents are like, hey, yay, at least they get a second use out of them. We actually left at intermission because he had school the next day, and because it's like, they're not going to hold it. They held it at a very nice theater, but they're not going to hold it over a weekend because that would cost more money. So anyway, I'm rambling on here. So I added in the upper right hand corner, I've got that heart and that circular star. I've got another circular piece going on the left hand side, and I wanted to add something to this centerpiece that I'm working on now. So I've got that larger flag and then the smaller flag. And then I think I'm going to use both of those puffy hearts, but I'm not. What I'm looking for is another circular element, only the only circle I have left. I don't know if you can see it. If you look just to the left of that 3 die cut over on the left-hand side, there's a white circle with a green heart in it, but because that would lay on the white flag, I didn't want that to do that. I then remembered that I did have some circular pieces in the wood veneer from the Noteworthy line, and that I was like, oh, that really works. So I took away one of the puffy hearts. So now I have the red die cut, the green puffy heart, and then the wood veneer along with that blue flag, and then the multicolored flag. So with Elle Studio, it really lends itself to doing rainbow layouts. Oh, and that's Xanthi. Sorry, guys. So as I often do, I had pre-written my journaling, so I went and got my Kindle so I could copy that over, and I'm just writing, and Xanthi's being obnoxious as usual, sitting right on my layout because she's a dork. Okay, so I'm trying to tempt her by holding paper over her box, so then she'll go over. I did not realize until I watched this back that her tail is just laying there in the middle of the layout, so I apologize. All right, I am almost finished here. I'm going to end this layout that took forever with some white enamel dots. I'm going to put them in each of the embellishment clusters, and then I only have 3 left, so I just pop them next to the journaling. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining me here. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be great. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.